Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. This will be a quick video. This video is just basically how can I access URL params, aka a search or URL query string, via my front end code. Because again, there's generally your back end framework will give you an easy way to access it for requests being made to your server. But what if you want to access it in your front end code, your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript file that the browser reads to do stuff in the front end, like make it affect like what's being shown on the screen or something like that. And again, if you're trying to just conditionally do things on what's on the screen initially, you could probably do that if you're using server-side rendering to do it on the server side, which is theoretically a little bit easier. Although here wouldn't be too hard either. It's actually pretty easy how to access the params. So for example, let's just show you a few things. So I'm going to just make a script tag in this HTML file. I could make a separate JavaScript file, but sometimes if you just need to write some quick JavaScript, writing a script tag is an easy way to go. So what I want to do is show you that if I console log the window object is this object that represents the browser window. Okay, so let's see here. Let's refresh. Oh, I need to save. You can tell I just woke up. Save. Let me just turn on autosave so we don't have to worry about that going forward. Settings. Set here now. Autosave. Fine. Okay. Cool. So see, you see this window object is this object that represents the browser window with all these different things in it. One of the properties it has in it is the location. Location represents the URL in the URL bar. Okay, document, if you ever use like the DOM, that's what the document object is. Literally everything in the browser stems from this window object. So technically, when you do like document.querySelectors, you're really doing window.document.querySelector. But the location represents the URL bar. Okay, so you can see there's all these properties here. So like, just this is the actual URL that we're using. And then there's like this search parameter, which represents any search URL params. So if I were to like redo this and just add some params, so I'll just sit there and say, hey, like parameter 1 equals cheese and parameter 2 equals bread. Okay, so there's two URL params that I just added to the end of the URL. Okay, now if I hit enter here, then let's take a look at the object again. Okay, so here's the new version of the object. I go to location. There's the URL, so you can see like the full URL. Then it shows me like the origin, which is just the URL without the params, the protocol. So see, it's breaking it all down for me. But now if I go to search, see there's just the search parameters. Okay. So now in JavaScript there's an object. So I can say console log. Const params equals, and there's an object called URL search params. So I'm going to create a new version of this object, and you have to pass it the search string. So window.location.search. I pass it the search string, and what it's going to do is going to parse that search string, and then I'll be able to grab the individual parameters using this object. So let's just console log this object so we can see what we're working with here. Params. Okay, so now here's the URL search params object. So if I open this up, what do we see here? Okay, we see like there's a append object. That's really just if you want to add a param, delete. Really, all we really care about is get all. Yeah, those are really the only two things we really care about. So if I do console.log and I say params.get, what I can do here is then I can say, hey, which parameter I want to get. So I'll say parameter 1. And that should get me back parameter 1. Not quite. Porque, no, did I spell it wrong? Yep, I did spell it wrong. I accidentally spelled it wrong over here. It is parameter. Okay, there you go. So you see you get cheese. Okay, and then I could also do console.log. And I can do params.getAll. And what I want to get back, console.log params, let me refresh this. I guess we don't get anything back from that. Make sure I do that right. Get all. Yeah, there's a function in there called get all. Oh, well, I saved it. So let's just do this. File, save, console.log, params.getAll. Let's just see what that function should do. Okay, so we'll just do here and say URLSearchParams dot get all. You can just look at the documentation. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what that particular function should get me. So we can always check. Returns values associated with a given search parameter as an array. Search parameter get all name. So let's see here. Foo bar. Ah, I see here. Because we use the append to add an additional value, it's actually generating an array of values. Yeah, that doesn't seem particularly useful. Okay. I'm sure it has the situations where it is. And again, there's other functions. So the MDN documentations are always like the best, because if you ever read MDN documentation, you can find like the particular object. So in this case, we're talking about the URL search params object. So I can see that over here on the side, and I can see all the functions in it. It gives me a nice breakdown for each one. I always find that pretty useful. And then if I want to see like all the different web APIs, I can just click here on web APIs, and I can see like all the different like things that are built into the browser for like front end work. So a lot of fun stuff you can use and lots to learn. So my name is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. Remember, you can always find more of my content over there at devnursery.com. So if you head over to devnursery.com, you can go to video tutorials and find video playlists on everything. Or you can go to my blog. And here in my blog, you can do quick searches on things. So if you're looking for like Express, you can just type in Express here, hit search, and you can find the articles that relate to Express and so forth. So, and then actually all these blog posts will also be available at a new website that I'm working on, grokoverflow.com. Okay, for those of you not in the know, the word grok means like understand things, like to really understand on a deep level. And it comes from a book called Stranger in a Strange Land, which I highly recommend. Really old school sci-fi book by Robert Heinlein, but you'll hear like the term grok in the programming world a lot when people say, hey, look, I understood something. I grokked it. Okay, Overflow is just, you might be familiar with Stack Overflow, great place to go find answers and knowledge on coding. So I just mixed these two popular words into grokoverflow.com. Okay, and you can find here, you can also find my blog posts with the search, except now you can actually search by categories and stuff like that. A list of podcasts that you can go subscribe to, a list of my video playlists, and a Slack community, which you can also find at devnursery.com. So have a great day. My name is Alex Merced, and enjoy.